Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to another episode of DNA's The Dosage Podcast. Back live here with Caleb.
Hello.
And Rob.
Yo.
And Trav. That's me. Yep. Anyways, welcome back, guys. How you been?
I've been, we're slowly getting used to this whole world we're living in.
Yeah, it is quite the change. It sucks in so many ways. So many ways. But at least we get to still do this, and we get to still do a lot of the stuff DNA related. We just don't get to do a lot of the other things that we enjoy doing right now, which sucks.
Yeah.
So for those that don't know, that are listening to us on audio, you can catch us when we do these live on twitch.tv/doseofnerdacumen, and we have the pleasure of returning to Animal Crossing as our backdrop if you're watching the video, or if you want to go check out the video. We're visiting actually Caleb's island this week.
Woohoo!
So mine was a beach setup,
Thanks.
and Caleb's is a baseball diamond. And he's got surprises.
Thankfully, we are not visiting mine.
Oh, yours is not finished?
Mine has not started.
Oh, God.
I haven't even unlocked terraforming yet, let alone done any of it.
Man, what have you been doing with your life?
I log in, I plant my tree, I find my daily recipe in a bottle, talk to all my villagers, shake a tree, and log out, basically.
Wow, such an exciting experience for you.
Yeah, I know.
You're a people's people. I mean, I play almost every day, and I don't talk to all my villagers. So, that.
Well, especially Stitches, my stuffed teddy bear villager. I gotta talk to him every day. Can't let him move out.
I'm still trying to figure out, which villagers I really want that are out there, I know which ones I don't want that I have, and so that's just hoping for the stars to align for them to leave.
Yeah, Andrea had someone move out already. It was the, I can't even remember, one of the Rams or whatever.
Trav, you a little chilly there?
Yeah, my character, I don't know what's going on. I'm sneezing, you see that? That's not good. Social distancing. It's probably a wise move to move away. Sorry, Caleb.
That's alright.
So she got one of the characters to move out, and I'm like Caleb, it sounds like. I don't really go out of my way to talk to each villager every day. I just kind of gather things, gather the fossils, do some tending to the plants and trees, and catch some fish, and then I'm done. Oh, I check the shops, so I make sure I buy cool things each day.
Yeah, I do always try to check the shops. I was going turnip crazy for a while. You guys kind of noticed I was spamming you if you had found a couple people who were selling for pretty high without needing any tips, and so I'd already taken care of mine, so I was trying to help further out. But I'm taking a break from turnips.
I've only participated in the turnip thing once. I think that's it. I know there's a lot of money to be gained from it. I don't know. I just haven't gotten to the stalk market.
Yeah, Kevin
Pretty
is
intense.
right now sitting at just under 8 million bells.
Ugh, I think I'm at 4.2.
I had that many, but I've spent it all. I'm down to around 1.
Well, and that's the thing. He made almost 5 million today on turnips.
Jeez. I mean, once everything's paid off, I don't really have the need for that many millions of bells anymore.
Well, and that's a huge part of why Nintendo started adjusting all kinds of things in the quote-unquote economy of the game. I started mentioning that to Kevin, actually, in a chat, and he was like, I mean, there's not even really an economy. I don't know why they're messing with it. There's no, player-based economy. And I'm like, okay, yeah, but, look at you right now. Your house is fully paid off. You're sitting on almost 8 million bells. Name something you're going to want to buy that you don't think you're going to be able to afford.
Right.
And if you have all this money, you basically have nothing left to do except for collect for the museum, which is extremely finite. And especially where the fossils are concerned, unless you've got a network of people sharing fossils too, you know, you're gonna run out at some point. Like you can only get up to, what is it, 4 or 5 fossils a day?
Yeah, I believe it's 4.
Yeah, it is 4. You're right. It's 4.
Yeah.
Did your villager go potty and come back?
No, he sneezed, so I got up and left.
Oh, I see.
No, he's not Eric. He doesn't piss during the stream. Jeez. But yes, we could do a whole episode really on Animal Crossing.
Yeah,
But-
that's definitely.
But that's not
Okay.
what's scheduled tonight. We actually have a scheduled
A181.
idea. And shout out to Chat 181's here with us. Halo. Speaking of, I can't wait for the Halo Infinite stuff coming up soon. Much excited. But what we're here for today, I was scrolling through social media and then I learned of the 80th anniversary of Batman recently. Correct me if I'm wrong. That was the thing that
There's
happened.
so many.
Yeah,
So-
that was the thing that happened.
Okay. And we actually, a week or two ago with Atticus, we built the Batmobile
Whoa.
from the 89 Batman film in Legos. And that was a lot of fun. So it got me thinking, and then scrolling through social media, I saw, shout out to IGN, they gave me the idea. I was like, this could be fun for a podcast, and here we are now actually going to be talking about it. And the theme is Batman. And along with Batman, we want to talk about best or favorites as far as Batman is concerned. So, which film had the best ... is going to be our thing. We came up with a few categories. Caleb, you added voice, gadget, tools, belt.
Yeah, I
to
thought of
it.
another one. I guess I should have pitched it to you guys pre-air, but here we are already on air. What about favorite Bruce Wayne?
Let's start with that. Let's kick things off with that.
Best Bruce Wayne.
Yes. Who played the best Bruce Wayne? And this is all opinion based. This is just
Yeah, absolutely opinion based. I think for me, I was always a fan of the George Clooney Bruce Wayne, just kind of super suave, and I think for me, that's probably where I go for favorite Bruce Wayne.
Yeah, he wasn't bad. He was the worst Batman in my opinion.
He was a terrible Batman.
But yeah, he was okay for Bruce Wayne. I'll give you that.
What do you guys? Where are your feelings at for good old Brucey?
Is that me next then, like we normally do?
Yeah, let's continue our normal rotation to not confuse listeners.
Believe it or not, I'm actually going to go with Caleb on this one. Speaking strictly in live action, George Clooney, close second would be Keaton. But yeah, I mean, I love Kevin Conroy's portrayal, but I'm not going to use that one here specifically because it doesn't really come across. Mannerisms don't really come across from an animated perspective. So that's I'm just gonna side with Caleb on that one. I think Clooney was the best live action Batman.
Bruce Wayne. You mean
Travis,
Bruce Wayne?
where do you land?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Yeah, you dropped out for a second, but I hear you now.
Yeah, you mean Bruce Wayne, not Batman, right?
Or that's what I meant. Yeah, sorry.
Okay, I just want
Clooney was the best Bruce Wayne.
I just want a clarification to avoid confusion. So for me, like initial thoughts are Adam West,
He was good.
but I think I like Ben Affleck as Bruce Wayne the best, just because
He
of
was
the
definitely my third.
time period. We're leaning heavily into like pre-Batman Beyond Bruce Wayne.
Mm-hmm.
And that's, if you've seen Batman Beyond, I really like that Bruce Wayne as well, because that's a give zero, fucks Bruce Wayne.
Yeah, no, I
Yeah.
agree. Something weird. I was talking with my coworkers kind of about the show to kind of get their idea of where they stood on some of the stuff, and one of my buddies kept bringing up that version, and how when you take that part of the storyline, he really probably did the best job portraying that version of probably the only version of that storyline. But yeah, I also thought he did a really good job with what they gave him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. People like to hate on him, but I don't know. Ben Affleck
I
was,
really enjoyed him. I think of all the Batmen we've had in recent history, Bale's movies were better, but I actually even think Affleck was better across the board as Bruce Wayne and as Batman than Christian Bale was.
Yeah, I'd say when you combine the two, you probably had a together a better performance. But I have a hard time comparing in my mind just because that time frame of Batman for him is just so different than what we've seen before. And I thought he did a good job. I don't think we've ever seen, or most people had never seen, that version of Bruce and Batman. So it was cool to see it well done at least for the first time for me.
yeah. So
That
with Batman, we often think about something very iconic, and that is his gadgets, his tools, and his belt.
Yes.
Which one or ones utilized the best gadgets and tools, or had the best belt?
Man, for me, this is so hard. I struggle to come up with any sort of single thing that I can think of off the top of my head. I've been kind of racking my brain over this one all day, even though I know it was my idea. So I'm interested to see where you guys go first, because I'm having a hard time.
I mean, I can draw mine. Mine's an easy one.
Yeah.
So Adam West, hands down, that version of Batman had the best gadgets and thing. Every episode was a new thing that he had to use to overcome the odds.
Yeah. I mean, that's a version that I'm not super familiar with, but I do know that they probably featured more gadgets in his Batman universally than anything else.
Yeah, I mean, it had the benefit of being episodic rather than just a single standalone movie, but
well, yeah, volumetrically, of course he's going to win that one for
Right.
sure.
but I just thought it was the clever design of things, and I mean, the show is incredibly cheesy, but it worked for the time period and for what they were trying to accomplish. So hands down,
Yeah.
I think his version of Batman had the best gadgets and whatnot.
All right, so if we continue in rotation, then technically, Caleb, you're next for the gadgets.
Yeah, for me, I don't know. I'm torn between the sort of kind of Batman Begins Dark Knight world, because there was such what I felt like was really futuristic ideas that I had never thought of before. But something just keeps bringing me back to the 90s movies. And I believe it was, I can't remember which one had like the sweet Batarang, like the little ninja stars. Was that Batman Forever or was that Batman Returns?
Oh, good question.
Remember?
Yeah, I think it was Batman Forever.
Guess we should have watched all these before the episode.
No, that was like in my mind. I'm like, shoot, I'm gonna rewatch all these probably this summer for sure. But I probably should have done way more pre-show work. I'm relying on my nostalgic brain, and it's pretty much failing me right now.
I mean, I think that's ultimately important too. What stands out the most with your nostalgia brain, as opposed to just
Yeah.
freshly watching something, because you could have a different opinion. Because
True.
nostalgia,
Rob?
like that changes over the years. Like something that you enjoyed as a child may not have the same effect just because of your understanding of the world, different perspectives on things. Like you change as a person. Even sometimes so slightly, but sometimes significantly, which ultimately could have effect on your fandom of things. So,
Yeah.
True.
But what you got, Rob?
Well, since I'm out of stalling by listening to you two, I don't know, man. To be really honest with you, when I was thinking about it originally, I was thinking about it as we wound up discussing it as which era / specific movie had the best overall tools and whatever. In which case, I would also agree with Travis, which is weird because that's twice in a row I'm gonna have the same answer as somebody. I was going to say Adam West, and if for absolutely no other reason than because bat shark repellent is a thing. Adam West had the most fun gadgets. But then I started thinking about it more, and I was like, well, crap, what if we're just talking about is the best gadget.
I think that's another way to take this too. Maybe that's something to look at. I guess I took a hybrid road out.
Well, I'll tell you what
and
isn't the Batman credit card that was featured. That was some
and
bullshit.
that was actually originally gonna be my answer for which was the best gadget, because let's be real,
Never
Bruce
leave
Wayne
home
credit
without
card,
it. That was so stupid.
Right.
God, that was
It was
awful.
horrible, but it's so useful. But my real answer for what is the best single gadget in Batman's arsenal, I think, has to stand as the grappling hook.
Yeah, I think that's the most effective and commonly used one out of them.
Yeah.
I think for me, when I think about the grappling hook, it's probably the thing that makes him seem most super of all, like his ability to basically kind of fly with it without powers. I never thought about it that way. That's a good point.
I'll tell you, the grappling hook was a piece of garbage when I was trying to play Batman Forever on Super Nintendo and Classics Lounge last week. Stupid thing
Batman
would not
Forever
work.
was a piece of garbage.
Oh, that game is crap.
Game
Dude,
had
how
to
long?
sabotage the best gadget.
Yeah, I sat there in that same section, which is 2 minutes into the game, for a good 20 minutes before everyone was like, let's just move on. It was awful.
Like, even in the what are you supposed to do here in the guides, I don't know why I couldn't think of that word for a second. Even in the guides, it was like stand under the hole and press, what was it, select and B, and I'm like, okay, first of all, who the shit programmed these controls? Select and B? Who in their right mind is ever going to think about that?
Yeah, it was bad. It was bad. And like visually, the game looked pretty good. But
Yeah, it
man,
looked great for a Super Nintendo game.
But man, that most effective tool, yes, but not in that game. Jeez. So some of our other categories, unless we want to add more to gadgets or anything like that.
I mean, do you guys have a single gadget that you'd vote on, or are we just all agreeing the grappling hook is the best?
I personally, the grappling hook or the
Yeah,
batarang.
The more I think about it, the grappling hook.
I mean,
I'm not mad, obviously. That was my answer for a reason.
I mean, in the Arkham games, it's the most commonly used one besides the batarang.
Yeah. In order of importance, you've got the grappling hook, the batarang, and then the cape for gliding.
Yeah, I guess
Yeah.
that would be considered a gadget. A utility.
Especially when you look at it from the perspective of the Bale trilogy. Or
True.
Nolan trilogy, I guess you could say.
Really, where it got big.
Yeah.
So speaking of that trilogy, probably one of the most iconic things in that trilogy is Bale's voice.
Yes, this
as
is the
Batman.
reason I wanted this to be talked about.
Where is he? So who had the best voice? Like, who was your favorite? Who had the best
Batman
voice?
voice.
Yeah.
I think for me, it's reminding my brain that it's best voice, not most memorable. Because that whenever I think of Batman voices, clearly Christian Bale's always pops in my head, but by no means am I like, yeah, that is the best voice. I think it always threw me off. I've grown, I think, to like it over the years, but it's not something that I'm like, die hard about. I think for me, best voice is gonna go to, I don't know, I'm kind of stuck between George again and probably Michael Keaton. That was probably where I land.
Okay. Oh, Locke had an exclamation point pop up. What does that mean? Are you alarmed by his response?
No. I think a part of me, especially because we keep talking about nostalgia as a major factor in this, and with the fact that I specifically asked if we were including animated in this conversation, I'm surprised that the answer is not unanimously going to be Kevin Conroy.
Yeah, I mean, he's probably the one that's been used the most throughout the animated series, animated films, and things in general. I think he might be the most iconic voice in the history of Batman.
True. And again, this is something I hadn't even calculated the animated series into my head, but I would have to kind of go back and re-listen to that because that's just not fresh in my brain.
Well, a big part of it for me is that it is, when I think Batman, my knee jerk, above and beyond anything else, is always the animated series first, and then games or movies, depending on context, comes afterwards. But even when you leap from the TV shows over to the video games, it's still Kevin Conroy. They replaced him in Arkham Origins with somebody else.
Yeah, he was somebody
But Kevin
else.
Conroy was the voice of Batman in basically every other Batman game that's ever been.
That's what I'm saying. He's the most iconic. Like, you'll know that voice as soon as you hear it. And when he's not portraying Batman in something that's not like a live action film, I don't want to say
got him to portray Batman in Legends of Tomorrow.
Really?
Not Legends of Tomorrow. Well, maybe it was Legends of Tomorrow. In the most recent crossover series that they did late last year, Crisis on Infinite Earths, they had multiple versions of various heroes that included a cameo from Ezra Miller as the Flash towards the end of it, which was a huge surprise, apparently. They kept that real quiet. But they actually had Kevin Conroy as Beyond Era Batman. Like, he had like a metal suit and everything to help him walk because he was, old, beat up.
Right, which makes sense.
Yeah,
I didn't know that.
It was Kevin Conroy.
I fell out of that show very quick because I felt it was not great.
Legends is not great in the beginning. I keep hearing that it got a lot better as it went on, but I fell out of the Arrowverse as a whole a couple of years ago. But I still read stuff from time to time, and I saw that, and I was like, that's awesome that we actually got to see Kevin Conroy play a live-action Batman for once.
I mean, that's a sweet payoff as a fan of Batman, so very cool to hear that. It might can't talk. Spark my interest now that we have a little bit of free time, and after I'm done watching the X-Files again, I could be something I might watch.
Well, keep in mind, I don't know what episode, which show, I should say, in the crossover he appeared in. It might have been all of them, it might have only been one. They didn't really focus on the multiple universes in every episode, from what I understand.
Gotcha.
And they hopped around a lot. I mean, Tom Welling, and I forget her name, the lady that played Lois Clark in Smallville, also appeared to reprise Lois and Clark.
Interesting.
Yeah, the Crisis on Infinite Earths was a huge thing in terms of reaching back across pop culture for all of these various characters.
I mean,
even the universes were pop culture referenced. One of them was a reference to the year the director of the show was born, of the show that universe was based in. One of them was the year the issue number that one of the characters first appeared in the comics. You know what I mean? Like, Crisis on Infinite Earths was the most Easter egg laden, reference heavy thing they've done in the Arrowverse to date.
I only made it through season 3 in Arrow, and then I just kind of stopped watching that universe of shows. Netcut in chat asks, how far am I in the X-Files rewatch? I just finished season 7, episode 4, and it is the countdown to the Millennium. They had the crossover with that show from back then, the Millennium. And it was the episode that concluded in Mulder and Scully having their actual real first kiss. So pretty significant episode in the franchise. Significant season 2 as far as the future and the wrap-up of the original run of the series or show. But yeah, I really enjoy it. A year or so ago, I got the box set on Blu-ray, and man, they cleaned that thing up so good and made everything full widescreen. So
That's good to hear.
yeah, like they put some money into it, and it wasn't a cheap set by any means either. But it was one of my favorite shows from the '90s, so I had to have it. But,
Understandable.
off topic, we can talk about that too in our what you doing ending segment, because I can talk more about that. But yeah, voice. Is it my turn?
I think so.
Like, you got more? Or?
No.
No, not about voices.
Okay, so initially, Bale, obviously is my gut reaction. But
I don't
one
know
of
if
the
you're cutting
things,
out on the stream, but I can't hear you.
hopefully I'm not cutting out. Can you hear me, Caleb?
You also cut out there. I was trying to watch stream to see if anybody said anything.
Oh, okay. It might be just my connection to you. Hopefully I didn't cut out. If I did, that sucks. No one gets my description. Netcutter says
I mean,
they can-
it could just be the Discord connection. Like I said, mine's...
Next says he hears us fine.
Okay.
Hears you fine.
Perfect. Netcutter says I had to run to buy the 2 films from Disc Traders during a rewatch. Right on. Yeah, I finished the first film recently. That takes place after season 5, between 5 and 6. Talking about X-Files there a little bit. I'll talk more with my conclusion here tonight. 'Cause trust me, X-Files is good.
That movie was not.
You're so wrong, but that's okay.
I hated that movie. Anyway, so who's your voice? What's your answer?
So, Bale initially, but I really liked the mods that they did, and they really showcased the disguise of his voice. I'm talking about Ben Affleck again. So the tech that they used in the bat suit. I thought that was really cool, and the testing they did. Like, it was just cool audio sound effects for the distortion on the voice.
Yeah, that was pretty slick.
I mean, it's simple stuff. Anyone can add audio distortion if you have, GarageBand or know any like little bit of audio engineering. Like you and I could do stuff like that. But it just sounded cool, and sometimes that's all it takes, right? A little bit of ear candy. Isn't that right, Caleb? A little bit of ear candy for the ladies.
A little bit of ear candy.
How you doing? Make sure you hit that follow button. Awkward.
Fun fact, I have a playlist that I listen to often that I built. I call ear candy. So I often say like, hey, Google, play ear candy. And then it's just like playing my songs. Oh, and there Google goes. My bad. That's a stupid idea.
Well, there you go. I think I might have a guest. Do I have a guest? Oh, I do. Oh, who is it? Come here. Come say hi.
Uh-oh. Who could it be?
Oh, that was so loud. You can't yell into the mic like that. We just blew everyone's speakers. We're talking about Batman.
Batman?
Yeah, what do you know about Batman? What do you know about Batman?
I can't go.
Tell them about Batman real quick before you go. No? Tell them about
Oh, anything about Batman?
All right,
That
love
was
you, buddy.
exciting.
Hey. Na.
Batman.
You want to watch the original Batman tomorrow?
Yeah.
There we go. We got a fan.
And if
Good
that's
answer.
not reason enough to listen to this podcast, to hear the young love of Batman start, then what else are you doing here?
Did you hear him ask?
Yeah.
Okay, I didn't know if it picked it up, so there you go.
I want to watch original Batman. So cool.
I didn't even prompt
Yeah,
that.
Bat Dad is awesome, Nick. You are 100% correct.
So yeah, I mean that's my stance on the voice. Again, people like to crap on Ben Affleck, but like
I never understood it. I straight up got into arguments with people who are like, Ben Affleck was trash. And I'm like, no, those movies are trash. Ben Affleck was awesome.
whoa, the movies weren't even trash. You stop right there.
Batman vs. Superman was hot garbage.
No,
I
it
don't
was
think-
not.
I think it's a very hard movie to make, and I think they did a great job with the task they had at hand. They had
Thank
to
you.
introduce like 12 different people, formulate one sort of fight, then resolve it so they can have an actual fight with the real do-betters. I thought they did a great job.
Tell me, do you bleed?
See, and therein is my issue with it. They didn't have to. They chose to because they decided that they wanted to emulate Marvel, but they didn't want to take the same amount of time Marvel took.
Yeah. No, I'm not even comparing because that's what people immediately do. I enjoyed the movie, and when they had the sequence and he just demolished the Batmobile in that scene, holy shit. I was jumping out of my
There
seat in that
were
theater.
set pieces in the movie that were good. The movie as a whole was not.
I disagree.
Definitely some badass moments.
The setup for Wonder Woman, like, there was so much awesome in that film. Nat Cutter from chat says, if you go into a comic book movie to watch an Oscar film, go fuck yourself. If you went in for a comic book movie, you enjoyed it. And I did enjoy it. I grew up with Batman as one of my favorite comic books I read. He is, to this day, my favorite hero character. He is not a superhero. He is a hero. He possesses 0 superpowers. I will fight to the death with anyone on that topic.
He's super smart.
He's
Super rich.
So I was going to say, he's super
Also,
wealthy.
yes.
But
No, see, that's the problem. I went into all the DC movies wanting comic book movies, and I fucking loved Wonder Woman. I thought, actually, I haven't seen Aquaman. I actually even enjoyed Justice League.
Justice League was
shit on
great.
Justice League. I like Justice League.
Aquaman was...
It wasn't great, but it was good.
I was bored with Aquaman.
What's that?
I was bored with Aquaman. My wife wasn't, for some reason.
Yeah, as my
I
life,
can't imagine why.
my wife would like to say, she really liked the movie Aquaman.
Yeah. Yeah, my wife really liked it too. I don't want to talk about
No,
it.
The hunk.
I don't know. I personally felt like it was a mess. They tried to do way too much, and none of it really landed, in my opinion.
Yeah, to each their own, man. To each their own. I thoroughly enjoyed it.
Not none of it. Like I said, it had its moments. My real problem with it was that it had an equally large amount of moments that kind of were like, okay, what the fuck?
Netkata asks, have you guys seen the latest video that dropped the other day with Batman and future Joker and many others? Find the one that was like 12 minutes. I have not seen it. Have you
I've
guys
not
seen
Yeah,
either.
I'm not sure what you're talking about.
it? Feel free to post it.
If you shoot it to me in a message, Neck, on Facebook, I'll paste the link in the chat, though.
I was going to say, you can
if-
put it in the
if you find it,
chat.
I mean.
You can put it in the DNA Facebook group too.
Yeah.
He says he's going to get it
You
right
can
now.
do that too. You
Cool.
can just drop it in the DNA Facebook group. That would actually even be better.
Cool. I will definitely check it out.
So that was your voice thing.
That
What
was
what are we
voice.
on now?
So we'll work our way up. Suit. Caleb.
Yeah, we missed the joke. I'm sure it was funny though. Something about a car?
No, I want to go to suit.
Oh, suit. Okay, I'm down with that.
Okay, I was wondering why you're quiet because I was setting you up for something.
I heard you laugh, but I didn't hear. I was just like,
Yeah,
I
we're
should've
gonna
made some-
go. We're gonna go back to the car. I'm eager for your response on this one.
I agree. Suit. Okay, suit for me. I do think I've been back and forth today in my head about a
I
lot
know
of,
what this is.
but for me, I do think that the best suit. Shoot, I hate saying this. I do think the best suit is gonna be the Dark Knight. That's my favorite suit. I think part of me thinks it's a little bit too modern looking, but I try not to include all the features into it. But I like how more realistic it looks, like that they can actually move versus some of like the vinyl leather version of the 90s ones that are just like kind of weird and unrealistic looking. So I'm gonna go ahead and slightly reluctantly stick with the Dark Knight.
Okay.
That's a fair one. I think for live action movies, I gotta give it to Batfleck's costume personally.
Like the
Thought
one,
it
the
was,
full armor one, or
No, just like his regular one.
his standard? Okay. He's
'Cause
definitely the
it
most
felt the
built
most like
too.
what
out of
he
them.
would be wearing at that point. Anyway, you know what I mean? It was breathable. It moved.
And he's
he
a
could
big
turn his
dude.
head, which was huge.
Ben Affleck's a big dude too.
Massive.
Yeah, he got jacked. Netcutter says, as far as he can tell, that video is a plug for DC Universe Online. That is actually the opening cutscene from the game. When you start the game up, for the first time, it plays that whole cutscene before you even create a character or anything. It sets up the whole universe of what's going on.
That
And it
sequence.
is fucking awesome.
Yeah, that sequence is really cool.
Yeah, it's super old, unfortunately.
MX, thanks for the host. Welcome to the Dosage. Kevin has
Oh, look,
arrived.
it's Kevin.
Welcome to the Dosage. So yeah, no, I liked his suit too, and the dude was jacked in that movie. The suit though, that's just to me that is iconic, and I think it's probably because it's the first Batman thing I had ever seen, and that's the Keaton Batman, '89.
It's a good one.
Just the standard black and yellow. Black and yellow. that's just, I don't know, something iconic about that, and that stands out. It might not be the best suit. That might lean towards the Dark Knight. But my personal favorite is 89 Batman.
What's interesting is that my second favorite suit is the animated series one, which leans very heavily in the same direction as the Keaton one, except, gray, black, and yellow instead of just black and yellow.
Well, right. I mean, that series came out of that film. I mean, they even used the music, the score, or whatever. So
I think I will always miss the yellow on the emblem. I think that's something that's another kind of iconic thing that we never got to see that way again. I think that's a good suit, Trav. Good choice.
I don't hear you crying foul about the lack of the purple gloves and boots, though.
George Clooney's bat ass shot from his film, and the nipples, the goddamn nipples.
Oh, bat nipples.
I did have a request for bat nipples as a category. There just wasn't enough, things to pick from. So I guess he'll take best and worst.
Yeah, I mean, that was just awful.
Yeah.
And I don't even want to hate on Forever or Batman and Robin, because there were elements that were actually good, and we'll get to that in another category.
Holy rusted metal, Batman. That Burt Ward shout out wasn't good for you. I loved that line.
I mean,
might be my favorite line in all of Tim Burton's movies.
That was fine. It was something. Let's talk about vehicles, though. Which one?
What do you got, Caleb?
Yeah.
So for me, and I'm going to go ahead and go hard on this one, probably from my favorite Batman movie comes my favorite Batmobile from Batman Forever. Absolutely love this one. I think one of my favorite scenes is when, young Robin or kind of pre-Robin steals it and goes into the glowing dark back alley to kind of be
the laser tag arena.
Yeah, it's probably one of my favorite scenes, and I don't know, I love how cool that Batmobile looks. I believe that's the one that kind of climbed the vertical building. I think it also took the 90-degree turn at 50 or 60 miles an hour by throwing a hook out or whatever. And I don't know, I really liked that elongated. Looked otherworldly, but different than the Tumbler did from the Dark Knight series. It looked just like something that couldn't be a car any other way. And I just thoroughly, I could probably go on forever about that car.
That's the one that had all the white lights all up through the front, right?
Yeah, white and blue.
Yeah. That one was sweet looking. That was a cool upgrade. Rob, what you got?
Good Lord, Travis, look what you've done.
What did I do?
He already deleted it.
What happened?
My phone buzzed and I wanted to make sure it wasn't my wife, so I picked it up and I saw I had Facebook notifications, and I saw your welcome post with 85 comments.
85?
And Gavin Faith is already deleted.
Oh man, did he get called out?
Real fast, yeah. Robert Jones, Gavin Faith, so when you make your car, you gonna name him Ace or Nightmare? I'm sorry. I'm not trying to bleed Gnaw into the podcast, but
no, this is DNA community too. So
yeah,
for a little bit of backstory,
so fast is all I'm saying.
So a little bit of backstory. We're gonna get off topic here real quick. Caleb, you may know part of this, maybe not. There was a dude that was basically creating multiple Facebook profiles. For whatever reason, he's been getting banned on various ones from leagues online for offensive behavior, and also spamming characters and creating characters. We don't have a hard rule against that, but we do when it comes to content violations. If you're offensive, if you're breaking any of our rules, you're gone, kind of thing. Yeah. This guy has been basically creating profiles continuously ever since getting permabanned with his main one. On his latest one here, he got called out within 40 minutes of joining the Facebook group, and his profile is now deleted from Facebook.
That's funny.
So the story will continue on as he will continue to attempt to enter the show again, but they all have similar things in common, and people have figured the trends out already. So the dude will have to get smarter.
Yeah. I don't even remember what we were talking about anymore.
Vehicles, it's your
Vehicle,
turn.
vehicle.
Sorry, that's a little little behind
You're
the scenes of what we do here at DNA and policing content and people. Being an admin is fun, basically.
It's weird times, man. I don't know. It's hard to argue with Caleb's logic. That is an awesome Batmobile. I was a huge fan of Bale's Tumbler, though. But I think if I'm being real, my favorite one is actually the Adam West Batmobile.
Oh, that thing is so cool.
Very, very cool. It's like if the Pope was Batman.
Right? A half of a percent behind it, though, is Keaton's Batmobile.
Another cool.
Adam Wee, you are correct.
Adam Lee. So I'm gonna jump in and say mine, and it's the Tumbler, dude. The
The
sequence,
Tumbler is badass.
the sequence in Dark Knight specifically when they're having the battle with the Joker and the semis.
And it breaks off into the motorcycle.
Yes.
Yes. That honestly, that's why I almost said the Tumbler, though, straight up, was because of that. That was awesome as hell. When that happened, when I saw that movie for the first time, I was like, oh shit.
And then as they're going through the tunnels in Chicago, those kids that are pretending to play video games shooting out their car window, and then all of a sudden the explosions start happening.
Yeah.
I'm gonna jump in before we switch over and give honorable mentions from my same movie, Batman Forever. Is the Bat boat and the
Bat plane.
the Bat plane? Yeah, that scene too is just another one that sticks in my head of like how freaking awesome when they go underwater and in the sky at the same time.
Yeah.
That was a good sequence. Like I said, those two movies, Forever and Robin, have moments that shine, but ultimately they're not great films.
No, they're not.
Each their own.
If you take them as they are, they're fine. They're an okay time. But as part of the series that they were supposed to be part of, they hurt my feelings.
So since we're talking about things like action, what is your favorite film as far as action goes?
I will tell you, but first of all, everyone go ahead and grab your controllers and follow me in game.
Oh we're moving. Let's get up and
Get on up.
For the visual audience.
Talking about action, everybody come on right up here. You guys can take a seat.
Son of a bitch.
You guys can take a seat right there.
You son of a bitch. All right, I'm going to stand on the microphone and make an announcement. I challenged him again, and I said there is...
I had to mute because I had to laugh so hard.
I said there is no effing way you could incorporate this into a podcast. And for the listeners, he has a piece of art that he created into the game for the cover art for PlayStation All-Stars Battle Royale. And he has found a way again to have me acknowledge that into another episode of our podcast here.
I had it a little bit bigger, but I had run out of available tiles to design with, so I had to chop it a little bit smaller than I wanted.
Incredible. Hold on. Do I have...
This is the best thing in the history of things, Caleb.
We're gonna
win the whole podcast.
We're going to finish the podcast here.
Let's do this one. I smirked at you. There, you happy? Like I'm smirking. So what we're gonna do, since
I'm delighted.
you are delighted, let's do this.
You are delightful.
So come stand next to me, guys.
Yeah.
I gotta take a photo. Again, this is for the visuals.
We got to do like the face plus one thing.
Oh, were you looking
Over
off?
here. It's funny because I'm not doing that on my screen.
Okay. All right. I'm gonna have a seat because I earned it. Damn it. Okay.
Caleb, take the mic. It's your turn.
Yeah. Let's talk about action. It's your turn.
I didn't think about that. My action is going to hands down go to The Dark Knight. I think that while not necessarily tons of, and maybe I'm wrong, so please correct me, not necessarily tons of like hand-to-hand combat, but I think the action of the movie was just phenomenal and otherworldly. When they flipped that semi over,
I was just gonna say that scene. Holy
boom,
shit!
ridiculous.
Come on, do it, do it, do it.
Yes, absolutely.
Oh,
And
so
from what I think, from what I read up on that movie, I think most of the stunts and like action things they did were like feasible. Like I don't think they may have added some graphics in, but I think they actually flipped the semi. I think they actually did a lot of the things that happened.
They did air compression to flip it in the street of
Yeah.
Chicago. There, like that was an actual practical effect.
Absolutely, so awesome. So
And practical
hands down,
effects age much better than digital.
I think the coolest part of that whole sequence is the fact that even watching the behind the scenes of how they did it was interesting.
yeah.
Listen!
Thanks for the
So
host,
like
Batman.
watching it was interesting, and then watching how they did it was interesting. All right, I'm gonna rock this mic. Boom.
This
Oh,
is
dear.
just ridiculous right
All
now.
right, I'm not gonna do that. I'm actually in a move that I actually sort of expect will surprise Travis. I'm gonna give it to Batman vs Superman.
Ooh. Okay.
Specifically because of that sequence where he just beats the tar out of all those dudes in that warehouse. That was so fundamentally Batman.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's it. That's
Okay.
the whole defense I have too. Is it was so perfectly Batman. It was such a phenomenal scene, and he just absolutely wrecked those guys.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
No complaints.
All right, I'll take the mic here. Let's see.
I just got this mic like 2 days ago. I was so happy when I found it.
I'm really excited for you guys to see my music room in my house.
Well, you're next for the island tour. So.
All right, Goldberg.
Oh my god. I'm done
What's
with
your
you.
answer, champ?
I'm done with you. So as far as action, my favorite film out of all the Batmans, as far as action goes, Dark Knight Rises. I thought Bane was incredible with the destruction and the siege of the city, and the action sequences with him as well as Catwoman. There was just a lot of solid stuff in that particular film, and I have a fun, I guess, story. Not really story, but Caleb knows it very well. So Bane was a favorite character
Yes.
of mine for many, many reasons. Most specifically, Caleb and I worked together, 5 years ago now.
Wow. Oh yeah, it's been forever.
Jesus, man, where's time gone? We worked together for a few years, but we started together about 5 years ago. We worked for contract to Google, and one of the things that we got to assist with was the training program there. And one of the most fun aspects of the training program was simulation calls towards the end of the 4-week training. And what those consisted of was mock calls. And you or a staff member would call into an extension in the training room to a new hire and put them through scenarios. Well, Caleb and I, as well as a few others, really took it to extremes as far as getting into these scenarios and themes, so far as portraying characters, like Bane. So I found out that I could emulate his voice. I don't know, was it close? Was it pretty good?
I think it was pretty. Yeah, I think it was. I think it was very good for like a entertaining. If I was gonna say, was it directly just like it? No, it wasn't. But it was identifiable and very entertaining.
Okay. And I utilized a solo cup to do the echo, and we had fun with it. And the Bane cup was what it was known as. And it was the Bane character that would call in, and I would just quote lines from the movie to the caller to really mess with him.
It got us cracking up on the other side, just watching this happen. It was very entertaining. One of the probably better things that happened there.
And every month we'd get a new class of anywhere from 15 to 25 people. And we'd only do the voice maybe once, maybe twice per class. So it wasn't like overly done, and these people didn't know it was coming. There were other people that played other characters, some guys that pretended to be an angry Southern woman. There were a lot of things that went into it, but ultimately my favorite, because of the character himself, was the Bane Cup voice. So that's a long story about the action. Is my favorite in that film, Dark Knight Rises. So with that, let's talk about, since I had a story for you, which, sorry, not sorry, that's kind of why you listen to podcasts, for story-driven or story-related stuff. Why don't I take a seat and let's hear about story now. Which film had the best story?
For me,
You think darkness is your ally?
I think for me, I may take a hit for this. For some people, I don't know. I really liked the story from Batman Begins, to kind of see his training, kind of how he became Batman, other than falling into the well at the mansion and the bats flying by and scaring him and stuff. I think I really liked that part of the story. So I have a feeling it's not many people's favorites, but I like that because I'd never heard that or seen that before. Never really knew who Ra's al Ghul was, other than just kind of hearing his name around.
Yeah, he's, I don't want to say he's a background character, but by no means is he. It's just one they haven't dove into, I guess.
Yeah.
Funny story too. If I was going to have a child and it was a girl, one of the names I brought up that I wanted to use was Talia. So if you don't know the daughter.
Oh no, worst time to cut out. We missed it. What was the name?
Talia. Did you hear me?
Oh no, it's going terribly wrong.
Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
It's sideways.
Can you hear
Is this
me?
thing on?
Can you hear
Is
me?
this thing on?
Can you hear me?
Now I hear you.
You hear me? So I said Talia.
Talia. Yeah.
His daughter. So Rob, what you got for story?
Pass. Go to the next one. I don't know. Dun, dun, dun.
Why is it so entertaining to watch you do that?
Don't know. No, man, that's really tough. I mean, I guess rather than answering which one I think is the best, I'll say which one is my favorite, I guess, and that's going to be Dark Knight.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
And a huge part of that is really because of the way they portrayed the Joker in that movie. Just kind of wrapping everything up into the general chaos kind of thing, playing very heavily into that. It kind of, even though we as the viewer knew a lot of what was going on, it still left you with some major twists in what was going on. You know what I mean? And I really enjoyed that, having the thing right in front of you and then still not ever really knowing which way it was going to go, because at any given moment, like, he could stab a guy in the eyeball with a pencil, or he could threaten to cut a rich guy's face off and not. And it's just like, what, he's not really going to blow up that hospital. You know what I mean? Like, I really enjoyed the narrative of that whole movie from that specific perspective.
Yeah, no. Nice pick.
Dark Knight.
All right. Dark Knight.
Oh my God, sit down.
Did you just say it and run away, Travis? We missed it.
Yeah. Dark Knight.
Dark Knight.
There, mic drop. No, the
I was
reason,
like, why is he trying to sit in my lap?
the reason for Dark Knight is I felt that, as far as story goes, it balanced so many characters and plots effectively, whereas a lot of the other films failed to do so. It gave you compassion for every villain and every hero, as well as side characters, enough screen time to tell the story, to have care and compassion for each and every one of them and their motives. You understood why each of them was doing what they needed to do in the film. So I thought it was a really well written story.
Yeah, I like that.
So
Yeah.
with that, speaking on villains, favorite villain.
Yeah, so I'm gonna go with definitely favorite. I think it's something that we didn't really nail down going in. I do think that this is a much more fun conversation to have when you go for favorites versus best. So my favorite villain, hands down, would be Jim Carrey, the Riddler.
Good choice.
I think just I really wish they would have brought him or kind of that idea back into some of these movies, because I thought he really played this kind of crazy, just thinking about him bouncing around the Batcave, dropping off the bombs, and how much he was enjoying that. I don't know. I really like that, as well as just like the crazy side of him, and the whole kind of draining the TV. But that was kind of weird. But I liked him and his character. Very well done.
I dig it.
Yeah.
Batman in chat says you got a Riddler in the new Batman movie.
Oh,
Is that the Batman, the Pattinson one that's got delayed now?
I'm legitimately excited for that movie.
I don't know. I don't know how I feel.
I know. You're wrongly against it for some weird reason.
I don't know. I don't know how I feel. Prove me wrong.
Best villain, though, huh?
Yeah, best villain.
yeah. Villain. Favorite/best.
Alright, so I'm going to answer this, and then I want you guys to tell me which one you think I mean when I say the Joker.
I'm gonna guess. Or is this your favorite or your best?
Let's go best first.
I think you think the best Joker is Heath Ledger.
I'm gonna go with Nicholson.
Travis is correct. The best Joker was Nicholson.
Oh.
My favorite is Ledger, though.
It's not Hamill?
So, the reason I excluded Hamill at this point is because of how many different versions of Joker they've had Hamill be at this point, without them actually being seriously different from one another. Plus, in movie terms, I don't even remember which of the animated movies Hamill played the Joker. He played him in the series. He played him in the video games.
He was
but the movies tended to focus on other villains.
He was in the Batman Beyond Return of the Joker. He was.
That's true. That Batman Beyond did have that movie.
Yeah,
I completely forgot about
Kevin
that
said
movie.
it just now too in chat. So he was in Return of the Joker. He was in. What other one was he in? I don't know. But definitely Return of the Joker, because I just watched that recently. I just wrapped up watching Batman Beyond with Atticus. Joaquin Phoenix.
Joaquin Phoenix did a phenomenal job as the Joker, but I wouldn't count him for this conversation because it wasn't really a Batman movie.
Yeah, it was not a Batman movie.
Yeah.
But no, a huge part of the reason that I specifically say I think Nicholson was the best was everything about it, from top to bottom, fit perfectly. And it was completely self-contained. We didn't need any good lord, we didn't need a prior movie to set the stage for who any of these characters were for us to care. We didn't need a follow-up afterwards, you know what I mean? The original Batman could have been the only Batman of the Burton verse, if you will, and that realistically would have actually been okay, I think. And not in the sense that I'm saying let's wipe all the other movies out by any stretch, but if they just hadn't happened, then the original movie was not harmed by lack of these other movies. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But Nicholson's character wasn't like hyper contextualized or anything like that. Like I feel like Ledger's kind of was a little bit. And another thing about Ledger's Joker is that it relied extremely heavily on the rest of the cast, and that's why it worked perfectly within the film that it was in, and that's why it's my favorite Joker. But Nicholson's Joker didn't need anyone else. He didn't even really need Batman. Nicholson's Joker was just the Joker. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I will say when I think of the Joker, I think of the laugh, and the laugh is Nicholson. I mean, boom, nailed it. That's in my mind what I'll always tie in with the Joker is the ridiculous laugh, and that's just kind of tattooed into my brain as his laugh.
Yeah. I mean, although if you go for the laugh, for me, it's going to be Hamill at that point, especially with us putting him back on the table with Return of the Joker. But
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, I agree. For
so
me,
that's it. It's a straight 50-50 tie between best and favorite between Nicholson and Ledger.
fair
Nice.
enough. Fair enough.
All right. Will Travis shake it up? Will he give us a new villain, or is he going to double?
So initially, like gut reaction, the villain that I go to the most that I like is Dark Knight Joker. But I also really liked, as mentioned, Bane.
Yeah.
But in addition to that, I really like the Riddler. I'm a big fan of Jim Carrey, so I thought he was a fantastic villain in that film. It's just unfortunate that he was in that film as that character, you know, because it could have been so much more interesting having him as that character somewhere else. But I don't know how or when or what they would do. So, I mean, Dark Knight Joker is probably my number one. But really a close contender is one that a lot of people don't mention. And I really enjoy Scarecrow.
Yeah.
Like, I really liked that villain.
Probably the most freaky and scary. Like, I really didn't. I mean, I was like, you know, pretty much an adult-ish or like a young adult when that came out, and I never really liked watching him spray that stuff. And like, I don't know, it was still, you know, for someone who probably shouldn't be afraid of these movies, it was still kind of freaky, and it's one that I'll always remember. But I think because I was freaked out by it, it didn't make my favorite.
Well, and
Speaking of
that's why I
practical
liked it so
effects
much.
moments, though, that was another real interesting thing to learn about that trilogy was the Fear Gas Batman, one where he's like covered in tar and like melting and all that, was 95% practical effect too.
Really?
Yeah, there's
Puking vomit, like black
Yeah.
vomit out of his mouth. Yeah.
The use of Scarecrow as well in the Arkham games, like I thought that was real cool too.
yes,
Yeah.
Scarecrow in the Arkham games was phenomenal. When I heard he was in it, I was like, there's so much potential for this to be garbage, and he wound up being one of the cooler parts of the game for sure.
I think most specifically the opening sequence of Arkham Knight.
Yeah. Oh God. Now I got to replay the Arkham games.
That's one that you should play through entirety on stream. Just saying.
Maybe. You know what? Here's my problem with that. Arkham Asylum is not a great one to watch because I spend at least 75 to 80% of that game in detective mode. And it's painful. It's painful to play. I can't imagine it being fun to watch.
If you're chatting with people, it might help.
That's true. I do want to comment briefly on you pointing out that not many people really consider Scarecrow as one of the movie villains, and I think the reason, what I believe to be the reason that most people don't consider him, is equally the travesty in general, in that he was sorely underutilized. I feel like.
But was
I
he?
can't remember
He
his
was the
name
only
now.
villain in
The
all
actor.
3 of the Nolan films. He was the judge in Rises. He was arrested at
Yeah.
the beginning of the second one. And
Yep.
he was the main as the first.
Well, but what I mean is, like, he wasn't front and center the same way the other villains were. Even in the first movie, you know what I mean?
Yeah. I don't know. Like I said, I enjoyed him. I don't know if you would want to feature him more prominently or how you would, other than how they utilized him in the games. That could be an effective way. But then you're toying with an R rating, too. So,
which is something that I think could be awesome for a Batman movie.
I agree. So our last section then is favorite or best Batman.
Oh boy, it's one that has also been haunting me today. I think for me, my favorite Batman has to go to. I guess I can just group them together. I think Christian Bale. I think the Dark Knight trilogy is my favorite Batman. I think they played it out well. It's not cheesy and corny. There's not like weird things that kind of stuck out to me. I really liked the Dark Knight Batman.
Yeah.
I forgot which one was me for a second.
The awkward
Which I don't
shuffling of
understand
chairs.
at all. I don't know.
He runs. Get back here.
Oh my god.
Where is he?
Sorry, I couldn't help it. This is such a tough question, to be really honest with you. Batman in chat says Bale, Keaton, Affleck, Kilmer, anyone but Clooney. Yeah, Clooney was not a good Batman. We discussed that a little bit earlier.
Yeah.
Kilmer was not a good Wayne, but I thought he was a good Batman.
He was fine.
He's not my pick. I'm just saying. Between the two, they flipped. If we could have got Kilmer to be Batman and Clooney to be Wayne, I think we would have had a solid movie.
Maybe.
It's tough. I mean, I completely see the logic from Caleb's standpoint on the Bale trilogy Batman. I feel like there's always going to be a part of me that leans heavy on Keaton. Keaton was an all-around great casting choice, period. He was good as Batman and he was good as Wayne. I really like Ben Affleck's portrayal of Batman, though.
Wow.
But when I think Batman, I think Kevin Conroy.
There you go. And it comes full circle. I almost thought you were going to go to another Batman Superman pick for someone who was kind of hating on it.
Like I said, I feel like there were some really great things in the movie. I just didn't think the movie itself was good. But yeah, I don't know. Gun to my head, it's Conroy all day. But it's a very close tie for second between Keaton and Affleck, I think. Let me get away from the microphone.
Okay. You know, for me, it really depends on mood and day. If I'm feeling nostalgic and I just want kind of a clean Batman, I think of Keaton. If I want a lot of action and I want a little bit more substance and a variety of story to tell with Batman, I think of Bale. But if I want the Batman that just kind of kicks ass, I think of Affleck.
Nice.
So, like, it's really just dependent on my mood. Like,
Yeah, I think that's fair.
so those three are interchangeable depending on those aspects. So it's hard to pick one. I don't think I can pick one because it would change depending on what day we did this podcast. The next time I would correct myself and say, you know what, I really liked Keaton because of blah, blah, blah. But then Bale because of this. You see this full story arc get played out that we didn't get to see with Keaton because he only got 2 films. Same as Affleck. We didn't get to see him more. He's done too, obviously. So yeah, they're interchangeable for me. I can't pick one, and there are no rules where I have to. So
There you go.
what now? But ultimately, this was all done. Shout out to IGN who posted something. We wanted to talk about Batman, and they had this really cool thing to give feedback to their community that I thought we could snag and kind of tweak for ours here. And we all like Batman, so it made sense.
Yeah. I think this was one that, for whatever reason, I kind of had overlooked when we were talking about different things we can do, and I was glad you stumbled upon it, because this was it was good to reminisce.
Yeah, and anything that you guys want to do like this, if there's like a genre of things like that you want to touch on, obviously come fall, we're going to talk about scary things. Speaking of that, I just watched Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark, and y'all should watch that movie.
I don't know if I can, man. The one from the preview with the big spidery looking thing.
Yeah.
Like, I just don't think I can do it.
Yeah, you should watch it. It was really cool. I read the books as a kid.
I'm already
so-
arachnophobic, and I got that from John Goodman in Arachnophobia.
Yeah. But with that, let's talk about in our normal closing segment, because we have a little bit of time today.
Wait.
Oh. Okay, we got another scene.
No. What you doing?
Oh, hey. So who are you asking me?
Gotcha. Yeah, I guess so.
Okay, so with that, like I said, I recently watched Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark. Highly recommend it. It was a lot of fun if you read the books. By no means is it like a game changer as far as a scary film. It just hit all the right buttons as far as what I wanted out of a film, and it reminded me of a classic 80s film like Nightmare on Elm Street with a monster and teenagers running from it one by one. They're getting picked off. Spoiler alert. Quite the standard trope for a horror film, but, you know. It was a good one. I enjoyed it. I've been catching up on The Walking Dead. I'm actually up to date on that. And kind of sad that they ended on the episode they ended. They aired 15 episodes this season. They did not air their 16th and season finale because it did not get finished in time, the edit, that is. So they said later this fall, we'll hopefully get the season finale we didn't get. And with that, the other thing that I've been doing, because I am still working from home, I have a television on in the background while I work, and we've been working our way through, as mentioned earlier, on the X-Files. My wife has not seen all of them, so I'm finally sitting down and watching all of the seasons with her, and the movies, the 2 movies. So we're through the first disc on season 7. So... other than that, I've been working my way slowly through Final Fantasy VII Remake and Death Stranding. Haven't really played too many other games. I spend a lot of my time popping in a game for my kid, and then he just kind of plays. So, but with that, who goes next? Is it you, Caleb, or?
Yeah, I think so.
Rotationally, you're after
Yeah,
Caleb, you are after Travis, yes.
we'll do that.
Is it weird that I always forget the rotation?
That's all right. Hey, Caleb, what you
Well,
doing?
in this case, we kind of eschewed it a little bit there.
That's
How Travis wound up first.
Yeah, I know.
Travis, what were you gonna ask me?
Oh, what you doing?
So I am also have been working through this stuff. I had the first couple weeks off, like we talked about, and so now I go in a couple days a week, and I make some phone calls from home. It's rather laid back, but the times that I go in, they get on the long side. And other than that, I've been playing a ton of Animal Crossing. I put probably a stupid amount of hours in, whether or not my game looks like it. I just kind of aimlessly walk around and don't really do too much. I've gotten to the point where now I'm like playing around with how I want to do paths and stuff. And we kind of talked just before we started recording where we're all getting, I wouldn't say bored, but we're running out of things to do currently. And so that's something that, I'm trying to find other games. I think I'm going to hop back into Borderlands 3. I took a big break from that after it came out. But I'm really looking forward to Maneater. I don't know what console I'm going to play it on. You guys familiar?
No, what's that?
Yes.
You're not familiar? It's basically, do you remember Echo from Sega?
Like Echo the Dolphin?
Yeah, it's like that, but you're a shark and you try to
Oh,
eat, and you'll just like destroy the world, and like you can get different skins and
Yeah, I linked this to you the other day, Travis.
that's what you linked to me. Okay, yes, I'm familiar.
yeah, super excited for that. Always also just kind of looking out for weird like indie titles and stuff. On the Switch and stuff like that. There's this game I play on PC a lot, or more recently called Superland, I believe. It's like you're like a little mini,
Superland.
yeah, you're
That's
like
on my wish list.
mini stick figure. That's a super fun game. Yeah, it would be up your aisle. It's kind of like a puzzler. So other than that, just kind of tinkering. Me and Jessica, the wife, have been binging through a couple shows. Right now, we're kind of taking turns on shows that one has seen almost fully and the other hasn't seen at all. So it's a show that I've seen almost fully. It's Psych. She hasn't seen much of it, so we're on season 8 now of Psych, and I really enjoyed that. It's super funny, and yeah, that's what we're doing.
It's a good ass show.
Nice.
There you go. And is that the end of the episode?
No.
Wow.
Oh, no, I'm just joking.
Oh, damn.
Hey, Rob.
And now it's done.
He didn't run off. Hey, Rob. I'll let you get it prepared. What you doing?
It's my turn? Why don't I have a sad react? I thought I had a sad react. Well, now I'm sad about my lack of sad.
There's a sad emote on the screen.
So, in terms of watching stuff, I've actually been binge rewatching King of the Hill.
Nice.
I am currently on season 7 of that.
And
And every time I turn the show on, I'm reminded of how wholesome and yet still funny the show is, and I'm floored by the fact that it is that good.
It's a great show. It really, that's one that we should do an episode on, I think.
King of the Hill?
Yeah, I think we should dive into that show. Caleb, are you familiar with it?
It's a show that I've seen a handful of times, less than 10 times. So I'm not familiar with it.
Okay.
Well,
Maybe
you
we
really
can
need to
convince
fix that.
you.
I tell you what.
I was saying 7 a.m. and already that boy ain't right.
Oh,
It's such a good show. Such a good show. Travis, I actually, just earlier today, I watched the one where they convince a grow shop to sponsor them in a rose competition.
Yeah.
That was a good one.
I like the
Caleb.
one where
Whoa.
he steals Luann's mannequin head for that she was
Yes,
practicing.
that one is surprisingly early in the series. Anyway, I could talk about King of the Hill for forever. I love that show.
Yeah, that should be an episode.
This wasn't any kind of recent because it was actually back when, before the lockdown and everything. I got a buddy that I watched shows with during our lunch break at work. And the one we just had to stop watching because of the outbreak was Person of Interest. But immediately before Person of Interest, we actually just finished Psych. Which is also a really, really great show. I just wanted to point that out. You were talking about it. I loved Psych. That show was hilarious.
I'm pretty sure Psych 2 is still to be released, like the movie, the second little movie.
That is correct. You are 100% correct. I just saw something not that long ago about how it's in pre-production finally, I think. But anyway, Psych, phenomenal show. King of the Hill is what I'm marathoning through right now. I mentioned earlier I have been playing Animal Crossing, just not with the same fervor that I was when it first came out. I spent a little bit of time this afternoon actually playing Star Wars Battlefront 2.
Nice.
Since we did that stream of it yesterday, it reminded me how much I actually really enjoyed the game. I have Origin Access on PC, which is basically EA Access, but it's the PC version of it. And so I scooped up Battlefront 2 for free through that, and had a ton of fun playing that earlier. But believe it or not, that's kind of it. It's been very low key for me lately in terms of stuff that I'm doing. Hey, no worries, Batman. I'm glad you got to come hang out with us at all, dude. Don't worry about it. Real life is a thing for sure. Batman saying he was sorry he had to run last night. He was hanging out with us for a while we were streaming. Okay, that's fair. I did pick up Generation Zero, which is another PC game, over this past weekend.
Says Kevin in chat.
What's that?
As it says Kevin in chat, because now it just sounds like you're talking to yourself. You're not having a conversation with the listeners.
That's true. That's true. My inner monologue is getting very loud lately. That's what's happening here. No, but Not So Silent Bob and chat pointed out that we picked up Generation Zero, and that's true. I'm terrible at describing things, apparently. I've learned this about myself recently. It's kind of a survival game-ish. Um, no, that's not accurate at all. You run around, you shoot robots. I mean, that's what I got for you. When you
Sold.
very first start the game, it gives you some story about how Sweden ramped up robot production for something, and apparently something went wrong, and now it's robot apocalypse. If you've ever seen Black Mirror, they had that episode Metalhead with the little dogs running around. Think those, but larger. They got like rear-mounted turrets and shit. When you first start off, you have no weapons, no health packs, nothing like that, and then you kind of scavenge through houses looking for weapons and ammo and stuff like that. Kevin describes it as sort of like Horizon Zero Dawn set in 80s Sweden.
Batman quotes.
Rear mounted is not
Rear-mounted.
technically accurate. They're top mounted, I guess, but they're mounted kind of towards the butt, which is why I said rear mounted. But
They're butt mounted.
yeah, it's like a dog with a turret on its back. It's like a shark with a frickin' laser beam. It is not set in the 80s though, Kev. We just happened to pick 80s looking characters.
What is
Funky
happening?
butt loving, you are correct.
What is that?
But yeah, so I dumped a pretty decent amount of hours into Gen Zero over the weekend. It's a fun game, but I mean it's no more complicated than that. Like there's a mystery. No, it starts talking about stuff in the 80s, but it's not set in the 80s as far as I recall. Those are some really Kevin questioning whether or not it's set in the 80s. Those are some super advanced things. Nah, I don't believe you. He said he just looked. I think he's making it up. But so that's it. That's what I got. I played some Gen Zero. I played some Star Wars. I watched some King of the Hill, and now I'm over here thinking about how powerful Sackboy is.
That's right. You're standing on my sack boy.
Well, with that, we come to another closure of the Dosage podcast. One of the things I want to highlight the most, if you have not followed us yet, the majority of the content that we put out outside of our podcast here, from Caleb and his Dose of Nerd Audio, which you should find on podcast platforms, as well as finding us. If you have not already, if you're listening, you've probably found us. Maybe. I don't know how you're hearing me, if not. But we are the Dosage Podcast, brought to you by Dose of Nerd Acumen. But again, most importantly, the bulk of our content is featured on our live stream content shows on twitch.tv/Dose of Nerd Acumen. And we have our weekly episodic series called Nerd Acumen Wrestling every Thursday night, 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You can compete and be a character on the show. All you got to do is have a copy of 2K19 on Xbox One or know someone that does, upload using hashtag NAW, and we'll feature your character that can be in competition each and every week. Compete for titles, compete for bragging rights, compete just to compete, because it's fun, and it's what we do. Outside of that, we have a new regular show every Saturday, switching to 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time if you're bored on a Saturday night because you can't go anywhere currently. Join us for Lockbox Jackbox Games with Rob. It's a lot of fun. You can win strands to use for title opportunities on NAW. Plus, just hang out with the community because it's fun. Another thing that you can check out each and every week is our ongoing, I guess it started out as a rogue series, but now it's just cool games. I'll call it cool Kev. Cool Games with Kev. It's a pretty lame title, but I'm going with it. So that's on Mondays, every Monday, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We have an upcoming episode of Andrea Lana Scared Stiff coming up next week. She's going to be playing The Evil Within, so you're going to want to pay attention to that for when that goes live. In addition to that, in the month of May, we are also featuring a game that I talked about that I'm much excited for, Star Wars Episode 1 Racer. Going to be playing that on the Nintendo Switch here next week sometime. Towards the end of the month, concluding May, I might be doing a playthrough, a complete playthrough, not in one sitting, but multiple streams of Saints Row 3 Remastered, because I'm very excited to mess around with that. Plus so much more in the month of May. If you're not following us on Twitch, you should do so. and join the 724 others that are currently. Trevor wants more
What?
E.T. I don't have any class. Well, I take that back. Friday is supposed to be a Classics Lounge day. Stay tuned for that. I don't know what I'm doing exactly. I have the day off. I don't know what I'm doing. But beyond that, follow us on social media. We're on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. Where else are we?
YouTube.
YouTube. Hey, that's a good one. We archive everything on youtube.com/Dose of Nerd Acumen. But that's all I got for you guys. Any shout outs?
No?
Shout out to the community. You guys are awesome and we love you.
Yes, major thank you to the community. A few of you contributed high dollar amounts to make a dream of mine come true. And that dream is to have an authentic replica championship rated R spinner belt, which I'm staring at on my floor right now. It arrived today. And with that,
That's awesome.
the other
You
one
better
that
post a picture of that.
I
Go
will
off.
be. I have to get a frame for it. The other one we have was a replica from not WWE Direct. It was just a replica that was made. It looks pretty close, but you could tell the difference in quality. But with that, we are actually going to do that as a giveaway, as a prize for people. The other one we have is a championship belt. So, Locke, you better win it. No?
I'm gonna.
So.
I hope.
Oh, besides that, I got some frames for the pictures that Henry and I got taken with Sting and New Day at Survivor Series.
Nice.
So,
Back when people were allowed out of the house.
Right, yeah, I know. Weird to
Those
think
days.
that was like the last event for a while that I'll go to. Sucks. Sucks mostly because I had tickets for 3 concerts this year. I had tickets for the first week of June, which is canceled already, to go see Newfound Glory and Simple Plan. I'm really bummed that I'm not going to be able to go to that. August, back-to-back, 1 week apart from each other. I was supposed to go see 311 and Incubus, as well as Weezer, Green Day, and Fall Out Boy. And most likely those are going to be canceled too.
That's
Sucks.
Yep, because that would have been fucking phenomenal. But here we are. That's alright though. I'd rather stay home, save lives, and be safe.
Yep.
No.
No question.
I heard that.
But with that, ladies and gentlemen, again, thank you all for being such an amazing community. If you've listened through this entire one, thank you for the creators of Batman for making us, all these years later, from your creation, have this conversation as friends, as pals, as fans, about some nerdy stuff. Because Bob Kane, thank you, Batman. Of course, you give us that. Batman in chat, says Bob Kane. But yes, thank you.
Bob Kane and Bill Finger.
Bill Finger, that's his name?
Bill Finger.
That's
Oh, dear.
unfortunate. With that, I'm going to hit the finger on the button to stop this episode because another one is in the books. Thank you, Caleb. Thank you, Rob. There's clapping.
Thank you, Travis. Thank you, Caleb.
Yeah, thank you guys. It was a good one.
You guys are the best. Couldn't have asked for a better trio right here. So, until next time, we don't know what we're doing yet, but stay tuned. We're going to find something interesting that we want to talk about for an hour and a half. Because I promise you, even if it's such as a simple thing as Batman and which one's your favorite, it turned into 90 minutes of fun. When at first I was like, this is going to go super quick, and it didn't. So, but here we are. I'm still stalling. I'll see you guys next time. Until next time.
Thanks for watching.
Yeah, take care.